what would you say to someone who is single and wants to get married? I'm flipping this question to you.
So I would say that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's worthwhile. I think there's good instruction in the Bible around marriage. I think marriage has the chance to be, well, in my life, it's been a critical, crucial, sometimes merciless, not really, but merciless sort of reminder of my need to be discipled and get closer to Jesus. And I'm not nearly as spectacular as I remember my single self to be. So, that's a good thing. But if a person were to sort of look at marriage as the fulfillment of their being, the completion of who I am, then I would caution them against that. Like I would caution them against a big pile of money being the satisfaction for them as well. How would you respond to that question?
I agree with that. I think when we see people who put kind of the whole weight of their life satisfaction on finding a marriage partner, well, it will almost crush the marriage or crush the other person. It's not a good thing. So I would say for people who are single and who are open to marriage or wanting it, that it's a good time to be intentional about the relationships that you have right now, and because we all need to have close, intimate relationships. And so investing in your friendships, in your relationships with family, in relationships at church, that is a really important thing to do, and not waiting and shifting into neutral, waiting for someone perfect to come along and kind of rescue you or make your life complete or whatever. I guess I would also like to say that it is, I just want to be sensitive to the fact that it's different for someone who is in their 20s, who is single and open to being married and open to being single. And it's different for someone who's in their 40s and had been hoping to be married and they are not right now. And I know that there's a tenderness with that. And I think that we can still support one another in that, and just be reminded that God has you where you are for a purpose. And it's not like you are second rate or still waiting for God to fulfill his purpose through you. I just want to be tender around that one.
We're going to be sensitive to brothers and sisters on this, family members on this, because I think some ways it feels like we're talking about owning a dragon, which neither of us have. Neither one of us has dragons. Neither one of us have been single through the bulk of our adult lives.
Yeah.
So we want to be sensitive. I wonder if sometimes church is one of the loneliest places you can come, which is such a tragedy, because we both dream that this would be the place you could come, as a single person, as an engaged couple, as a married couple, as a struggling marriage couple. You were going to come to this family, and you would always be loved, and will always be, sort of in each other's kitchens, in each other's lives, cheering for each other. And so we don't give ourselves report cards. I wonder how we would rate ourselves and how
as a church,
and maybe even this particular church does this, because I think for too long we picked up the script, which was marriage is fulfillment and go have babies. And so as you have people who aren't able to get or aren't married, aren't able to find a partner that they'd like to marry, or then not have kids, it's just, we recognize
or feel
the
called to be single too. I think that is a thing too.
Yeah, and celebrate that. The call to be single thing, at least as I understood it from the scriptures, and you probably have additional insight into it, but it was always around, what is it that God has called me to do? And then does marriage make sense to that or not? And so during Paul's time, he I think expressly said there would be times when this would be a kind of a bad idea. Don't get married. I wouldn't counsel you, he said, to be like me, don't be married. And so you talked about it earlier. I've talked, we entertained that as a possibility. Maybe God wants me to be single. The thing that matters the most is my discipleship to Jesus Christ, my apprenticeship. And marriage may or may not be a vehicle that God uses to that end. Yeah.